Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. For those who are new, I am Mark the Great and welcome to the channel. And today I'll be talking about a player who does not really get talked about too much due to the fact that he's in the forgotten era of football and on the butt of the league, being the pre-Favre Packers in the late 1980s and early 90s. But during his career, he had made some huge impact for the team and was a bright spot on the team that was considered a talentless roster. The player I'm talking about is Sterling Sharpe. And no, I'm not talking about the Hall of Fame tight end and undisputed Shannon Sharpe. I am talking about his shorter and equally talented brother Sterling Sharpe, who played for the Green Bay Packers from 1988 to 1994. Now, for those who know who Sterling Sharpe is and what happened to him, well, then you know. What happens to him, for those who won't, I recommend you guys watching this video in its entirety, as you get to witness a man who came into the league with so much promise and left it a broken man who lost everything too soon. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you all the story of Sterling Sharpe and answer the question, how good was Sterling Sharpe? Before we get started, I just wanted to say if you like this video, then consider dropping a like on the video, as it lets me know you guys want to see more stuff like this. And if you are new to the channel, then also consider subscribing to the channel, as I post videos like these weekly and you don't want to miss out. And hit the notification bell so you know when they come out. Anyway, with all that, let's continue. Now, I'll be talking about his early life, and I won't be touching too much with this as I want to keep it mostly NFL here, but I think this is important, so let's go. Sterling Sharpe was born and raised in Glenville, Georgia in 1965. Sharpe was raised by his grandmother and grew up with his younger brother Shannon Sharpe. They both attended Glenville High School and he played halfback, quarterback, and linebacker. He also played basketball and ran track as well. Sharpe attended the University of South Carolina and committed to football and played wide receiver. By the time he cleared for the draft, he broke school records in receiving yards, touchdowns, and receptions, and got his college jersey number retired, and was later inducted to the College Hall of Fame in 2014. So let's just say that he was no joke in college. Sterling Sharpe was a big priority for many NFL teams coming into the 1988 draft, and eventually he was picked with the 7th pick in the first round by the Green Bay Packers. In Sharpe's first season, he made an immediate impact as he caught 55 passes for 791 yards and 1 touchdown and started all 16 games, which is actually a great sign for a rookie. But next season, he gets even better as he again starts all 16 games and gets 1,423 receiving yards and 12 touchdowns and leads the league in receptions with 90. Now, as a second year is insane. Now, a Packer has not led the league in receptions since Don Hudson in the mid-1940s, so this guy was a pretty big deal, mostly because of the quarterback he had to play with, which was Don Majkowski, who threw 20 interceptions and was considered an average, so the fact that he got over 1,400 yards with a quarterback like him is completely insane. At this point, the hype for Sterling Sharpe is getting big, because at that point, he was considered the best wide receiver in the NFL, not named Jerry Rice. However, in 1990, things kind of changed a bit, and not in a good way. As Sterling Sharpe declines a bit statistically, he still gets over 1,000 yards, but he only had 6 touchdowns and only 67 catches. Now, some people would think that he declined, but that's far from the truth, because the real truth is in Green Bay, as their offense was 28th best offense, and they had major quarterback issues as well, with injury to Don Majkowski only allowed him to play 8 games, as he does horrible in those games, and the backup was not much better into the situation. So the situation in Green Bay was really bad there, so I don't blame this on Sterling, as he was really saving the only good part of this Packers team. Things get even worse for both Green Bay and Sharpe, as he has one of the worst seasons in his career, as he does not get even 1,000 yards and only gets 4 touchdowns. Now, this is particularly Sterling's fault and the Packers' fault. However, I would say it's more on Green Bay's fault, as they go 4-12 that year and has one of the worst offenses in the league for the second year in a row. And it looks like Sterling Sharpe took a step back, as he looks a little slower in 1991 and does not look like the normal Sterling fans are used to seeing. Now, I would say this was his lowest point, as the team is just horrible and starting quarterback could not even stay healthy and everything was just a mess. Things had to change and change fast. Now, in 1992, things took a huge change for both the Packers and Sterling's career, in a good way, as they made a new addition to the offense by the name of Brett Favre. Now, he does not start immediately, but he starts pretty early, as quarterback Don Majkowski gets injured again for the 3rd year in a row and is out for the rest of the season in a game against the Bengals. And Favre was named officially the starting quarterback, and along with a new coach, Mike Holmgren, the Packers immediately improved with a 9-7 record. Sterling Sharpe has his best season in his career, as he gets a career high in receiving yards with 1,461, which leads the league and broke the record for the most catches in a season with 107, beating out Art Monk's record in 1984. Not only that, he also leads the league in catches, receiving yards, and receiving touchdowns, and this was only done by 6 players in NFL history. 2 of them are in the Super Bowl era. So now Sterling Sharpe was back at his high status. In 1993, things got even better for the Packers, as for the first time in Sharpe's career, the team qualifies for the playoffs. And that year, Sterling Sharpe broke his own record for catches in a season and got 112 catches and got over 1,200 yards and 11 touchdowns. Now, in 1993 playoffs, Sterling Sharpe did pretty well in the wildcard round against the Lions, as Sharpe caught 5 passes for 101 yards and 3 touchdowns. And the last one ended up being a game-winning touchdown to win the game and advance to the next round, where they eventually lose to the Dallas Cowboys. But Sterling Sharpe did play well, as he got 6 catches for 128 yards and a touchdown. After the 1993 season, Sterling Sharpe was named the first NFL player ever to get 100 plus catches in 2 consecutive years, which is also crazy to say the least. Now, in 1994, a lot of things happened that year for Sterling Sharpe, but let's start off with what he did statistically. In 94, he caught 94 catches for 1,109 yards and a career high of 18 touchdowns, and the Packers ended up going again 9-7, like it did in 1992, 1993, and 1994. They do end up in the playoffs and actually repeat the exact same process as last year, and that being the Lions in the wild card round and ended up losing to the Dallas Cowboys in the divisional round. However, Sterling Sharpe would not be playing in the postseason that year, as the most unlucky and unfortunate thing happens to Sharpe. And for those who know what happens, you know, but for those who don't, allow me to show you the play that ended his career.
5-yard completion when it looked like Favre would be sacked. Now the handoff to Bennett, got 4 over the left side, and Sterling Sharpe is down. Sterling Sharpe down and in obvious pain.
So in week 16 of the 1994 season, Sterling Sharpe on a simple run play goes down with the worst injury any athlete or person could ever have, that being a neck injury. While trying to make a block on the play, he gets hit in the neck area, which has caused a trigger in his stingers. Now, stingers or a stinger neck injury is when a player's head is forced sideways away from the shoulder or downwards, and because of the force that stretches the nerves of the neck, causing extreme pain, causing a stinging sensation, giving the name stinger. Now, during the game, when Sharpe went down, many fans and broadcasters got terrified of what was happening downfield, and many people got confused, as when looking at the play, it did not look like much. Sharpe went down quickly and was in extreme pain, and the broadcasters during that game knew exactly what happened here, as they both mentioned it to be a neck injury and how serious this could be for Sharpe. Sharpe was down for 2 minutes before walking him off. After that injury, he was able to play one more regular season game after that in week 17 against Tampa Bay, as he had one of the best games in his career with 9 catches for 132 yards and 3 touchdowns. Now, in the final minutes of that game, he got a smaller stinger injury in the final minutes of that game, and at that point, he got too serious. And unbeknownst to many fans in Green Bay, that'd be his final game of his career, and he will never play football again, as he's forced to retire at the age of 29 years old. Now, after watching this clip again, it was honestly one of the worst sports injuries I've ever saw, as knowing he was too young for this to happen to him, and watching him on the sidelines looking positive, knowing he won't play again, is just hard to watch. The Packers do end up improving throughout the next couple of years without Sharpe, and ended up winning a Super Bowl in 1996. And that really sucks in Sterling's case, as there was an interview held for him in 1995, and he talks about his neck injury and his future. In it, he talks about how he would love to keep playing football and how he wishes his team was better early and on in his career and wanted to play in a Super Bowl. But in the end, he said that he would be okay with the future with no football in it. And watching that made me a little sad, because in the interview, he's not look contempt with his future. He looks at a situation as a what if and looks broken at this point. And that sucks to see, but that's just the way life goes. Overall, Sterling Sharpe was a generational talent and was a beacon of hope for a franchise not in a great position at the time. And his great hands and ability to make catches in the middle of the field are incredible. He came into the league hungry and making a name for himself and left it broken but contempt. Sterling Sharpe, to me, is one of the biggest what ifs in sports, as if he kept playing with the prime Brett Favre and played on in that 1996 and 97 teams, he could have some Super Bowl rings, gotten his stats off, and would have been a shoo-in for the Hall of Fame. But as we know, that's not the reality of it. Instead of that, we always wondering what if we must face with real life. But never forget the name Sterling Sharpe. Thank you all for watching this video, and I appreciate your time watching this video until the end. If you like this video, then consider dropping a like on it, and consider subscribing to the channel, and I'll catch you all next time. Peace out.